Must be near the holidays because there's a tree over shoulder and I keep getting a bunch of comments asking me to do an end of year roundup of all the tech goodies that I would recommend getting as a gift. Because I got them on a super ass sale, basically like half the price. This is that video. I wasn't dramatic enough. This is that video. I don't have all day to bark at you, so I'm gonna keep this short and sweet, jumping right in with the two planar magnetic driver options from Sony, that being the Pulse Elite over-the-ear headset for $150, meant to work directly with the Tempest audio engines of the PS5, just like its predecessor, which I ranted and raved about. The Pulse Elite, which I haven't done a comprehensive review on the channel of yet, is better than its predecessor in every single way. And since Sony's acquired Odyssey, the manufacturer of the Maxwell, which truly does bring a little bit, well, a lot of it, of their audiophile experience with planar magnetic drivers, and then puts them into a closed back wireless gaming headset for around the $300 mark. Still haven't reviewed that bad boy. I have seen these on sale for around $130 at Best Buy, which is insane. But even at their recommended MSRP of $150 or $200 for the Explorer earbuds, if you do want a true wireless experience and you don't like the feeling of over-the-ear headphones, although I will say personally I like the Pulse Elite more than the Explorers if I were to have only bought one, because it is $350 worth of audio gear from Sony. The Pulse Elite by far gets my recommendation, as I think it hits way above its weight class, or its price point I should say, in audio quality. The microphone's a lot better than its predecessor, and most importantly, comfort is so much better. If you want to pony up about double the dough or shekels, $300, you can get the Odyssey Maxwell, which it's been strapped to my noggin like a head crab from Half-Life for the last like month or so, and I can't really say enough good things about it, but there's some negative things to say about it as well. It doesn't have noise cancellation, it doesn't have simultaneous Bluetooth, it doesn't have a hot swappable battery system, although it does have like 80 hours of battery life, so that's a null point, and it is heavy, and the stock straps and cushions are good but not great, and aftermarket options. This is turning into a review for a headset that will be reviewed in the near future. I've tested some of the most popular IEMs or in-ear monitors on the market, luckily most of which are pretty cost effective, or pretty inexpensive I should say. In fact, the one that I've been using the most is by far the cheapest at under $20. Comfort, audio reproduction, the overall presentation, for 20 bucks, it really can't be beat. All the products that I am recommending are going to be linked in the description below. Those are going to be Amazon listings, just generic affiliate links. I'm not sponsored by Amazon or anything, but literally anybody can sign up for the Amazon Associates program, and then you go to whatever product it is and you generate a link. You, the buyer, don't spend an extra penny, but me as the person that showed you, hey, this is a good product, gets thrown a little commission, generally between like 1% and 5%. And it keeps the lights on over here so you don't have to stare at me in a room that looks like this. Actually, that looks kind of sick. Wait a second, what the shit? Lazy bastard, you were not doing your job. And those lights kind of remind me of the next product, which is going to be the Elgato Prompter for the content creator in your life. If you know a live streamer or prospective YouTuber, the Prompter does so much more than just working as a typical teleprompter, but even in that aspect of regards, it's a fantastic device, but it also works like an additional monitor with your PC and has a really good software support. Not going to spend too much time talking about it here because, you know, not too many of you are going to be interested in this particular product unless you are in the content creation space. And since we're on the topic of content creation, I have actually ditched my Go XLR mixer, replacing it with the Beacn Create, which I'm glad I waited about 2.5 years after launch with the Beacn Trio, that being the microphone, the Create, and the, I'm drawing a blank right now, but the other little tablet looking ass device with niblets that I purchased, because I got them on a super ass sale, basically like half the price of their original MSRP. Plus there's 2 years of updates and patches making it better, to where when I got them, the experience has been sick. This is what I'm talking in right now. And I do have a bunch of other XLR microphones and plug and play USB microphones, but for simplicity, overall sound quality, this really can't be beaten off. And this is going to be linked in the description below alongside the other Beacn devices. Again, not sponsored by any of these companies. They don't even know my name, don't even know I exist. Too small of a fish, throw me back in the ocean. Next up is going to be two mainstream pre-built keyboards from major companies you've no doubt heard of, probably seen them in brick and mortar stores like Best Bar. It's the best bar you ever been to. Best Buy and Walmart, that being the Razer Blackwidow 75 percentile, if you do not mind being wired, as that is not, it doesn't have any wireless support whatsoever. Or my top recommendation for a keyboard that I've experienced this year, and I just picked it up in the ass end of this year during Black Friday. I picked up that and the Kone XP Air Mouse, which is a Rogcat, not rebranding, but Rogcat was acquired in 2019. So you might see this exact same mouse with a Rogcat or Turtle Beach logo, but it's the same goddamn mouse. Either which way, I recommend the hell out of it. Whichever one you can see on sale, that's the one you should opt for. Comes with a little charger dock. But what the hell are we talking about here? The mouse or the keyboard? Technically both here. We were talking about the Asus Rog Azoth. Hell of a name, hell of a keyboard. This is a revised version. It shares the same name as its predecessor, but it's kind of a silent revision. My golly jeepers. This one is sick as shit. The little OLED screen is an absolute gimmick, although I do have it monitoring some PC specs, but the overall typing feel and the fact that this is just a pre-built wireless tri-mode hot swappable keyboard with a shitload of battery life. I think it's like 2,000 hours with the RGB off. Yeah, you heard that right, 2,000.
Why don't you try the one at the top of the stairs? It's the 7th door on the left.
Second?
7th.
7th.
And it feels, this is no bullschlager, no bullshit, as good as a lot of the custom kits that I felt from like Keychron. Definitely better than something like one of the old plasticky Wooting HE Hall Effect keyboards, which Wooting has the best gaming-centric specific features for... basically just said the same thing there. Wooting makes the best gaming and gaming only keyboards currently. If you do mixed usage on your keyboard, such as typing, or you're a keyboard enthusiast, it's kind of hard to recommend Wooting keyboards for a gift because they are in and out of stock, especially near the holidays. You can only purchase them from their website. They do have a closed ecosystem of switches, meaning you can't take the switches in or out of that board and swap it to anything else. You're going to need to invest in a good case and keycaps because the stalkers are cockers. They suck. And even once you've pimped a Wooting board out of its socks, out of its PCB, so to speak, it'll give you a completely rewarding gaming experience, but a relatively disconnected typing experience, primarily because they have linear switches that don't give you any positive feedback that you've just actuated that switch. Generally, tactiles or even clickies are better for the typing experience. And while the Wooting boards really kick ass for gaming, and I will be doing a whole Wooting video in the near future looking at the most common model, the 60HE, which is a 60%er. If somebody says they want a gaming keyboard, look at Wooting. You can only get it through their website. Shipping times vary, but that's a good option for gaming. But if you want a real man's keyboard, something that feels a little durable and rugged, and you could obviously snap the son of a bitch with very little effort if you tried, but just typing on it feels great. The Rog Azoth, not the Azoth Extreme, which is the $500 version. It's made from fucking moon rocks or something. And then the mouse right next to it, I kind of massaged its back earlier, is the Kone XP, which I think has the coolest implementation of RGB lighting that I've ever seen. But moreover than that, it has a really good button cluster to where it's effective for shooters and you don't have like 30 buttons on the side with a mouse that's designed for MMOs, but you have enough to where you can hotkey. For example, I've been playing a lot of Black Ops 6 here. I've got a bunch of my tactical shit, my movement bound to the side. For example, that little spacebar looking pad is my slide/dive. So that bada bing, it all happens so quick. I wouldn't pay more than $90 for this mouse. The recommended retail is $130, but the fact that it is a rebranding of a mouse that I've seen on sale for like 60 bucks, no more than 90 bones for it. And if you pick that up, I do recommend some aftermarket rubberized grips. If you want a lightweight mouse, something that's under 50 grams and will really click on faces, the Attackshark R3 is really sick. I've been using that. I probably got about 120 hours of skate time with that thing. It does have some weird driver issues where it was fucking my computer up, for lack of a better word. That seems to have been massaged out now. And other than that, it's a phenomenal mouse. Your hand never gets sweaty because it's got those perforated holes in it. It's metal. It is probably the best FPS mouse I've ever played. If you play on a low DPI and you like using pretty much all of your full-size mouse pad and you're doing big snaps, this thing is, it's nice. The PSVR 2 headset was the hardware was pretty good with the OLED screens, but it was really software limited. That was my big complaint, was that there wasn't a whole lot of games right at launch. You had the big blockbuster with Horizon and then Gran Turismo support, although that wasn't where it is now at launch. But the thing is, with the adapter, the PSVR adapter, if you can find that in stock, that's the real kick in the sack. Those are my two-piece recommendations for any VR player. I've actually basically packed away my Valve Index and now just exclusively use my Quest 3 wirelessly to my PC or my Sony PSVR 2 tethered to my PC with the adapter, the PS Link. Quest 3 headset, if you just want the best all-around headset and you don't mind giving up your ass cheeks to Meta, which you've probably already done in the past, so let Mark get another little piece of you. Barbecue sauce on his shelf, for God's sake. He can't be too bad of a dude. PSVR 2 headset, because it does now have PC support, which makes it to where now you can play your PC library. Half-Life Alyx, Ghost the Tabor, which probably would get native PSVR support eventually. Anyway, you get my point. Bigger library of VR games. Next up is going to be the controller recommendations. This is probably what a lot of you all clicked on the video for, because I have a big old wall of controllers over my shoulder, and I test and review a lot of them. If you're not scared of turning upside down with your coin purse and letting the fucking shekels drip out and hit you in the face, the Razer Wolverine V3 is the best Razer controller I've tested, and I've used every single pad that they put out since 2017. With the use of converters or adapters, Brook just released the FGC2, also a strong recommendation, which allows you to go wireless on Switch, PlayStation, Xbox, PC, every platform under the freaking sun with damn near any controller you can imagine. It's a converter or adapter. But the controller I'm recommending here is the Razer Wolverine V3. It is going to be getting a follow-up video very soon, going in depth, the pros and cons, basically a new review now that I've got more stick time with it, but it's also very expensive at $200 US. If you don't want to spend that, and by the way, I have seen that on sale already for around $180 around Black Friday. Not much of a savings, but a little something. Now, if you're a broke boy, as Pokimane would say, I would recommend checking out the GameSir Cyclone 2, as they have put out so many controllers this year. I am going to be making a follow-up buyer's guide, and they're all very similar. They're all sub $60 Switch and Xbox controllers. The controller I was most impressed with this year from GameSir is definitely the Cyclone 2, which has an actual on-off trigger lock system, TMR sticks. You know what? I could talk about it for longer than I should in this video. I'm just going to link the full review in the description below. Or if you prefer the PlayStation 4 shape with the symmetrical PlayStation thumbstick design, the Tarantula has gotten a software update to where it works as it should have pretty flawlessly now. There are a couple of complaints of the actual hardware on that controller that I had, but if those doesn't matter to you, then that's a good controller for you. Next up in the racing sim department, what I'm about to recommend didn't come out this year. In fact, it came out ages ago during the Civil War. And that is going to be the Logitech G923. Without a doubt, if you were trying to get into sim racing, you no doubt have heard of the tyrannical trio, that being the Logitech G brethren. Up front, the G920 and 29, and in the back, but with a bigger sack, would be the 923, which doesn't get recommended as much because it's just a marginal upgrade over its brethren, and its retail price was like $120 more. However, I am constantly seeing them on sale for the same price, if not cheaper, than the less feature-rich G-Series Logitech wheels. And if you're trying to get into the hobby sport activity of using a wheel, pedals, and shifter rather than a gamepad to control racing games, I'm sorry, not games, simulators, you son of a bitch, I cannot recommend the G923 enough. The main upgrades over its predecessors is going to be an LED shift light, which works in quite a few games, Gran Turismo 7 included, a slightly revised brake feel, and most notably True Force haptic feedback, which in my opinion adds a layer of immersion, but really isn't gonna lower your lap times. It's definitely one of those immersion rich features, just like having fans blow on you harder as you drive faster, and in some cases even motion bases can slow down your lap times, but they're just fun to be having your body sway around in one of those cages. I'm getting sidetracked here, but there is about to be an in-canon saga on the channel on racing sims, as I've cleared out an entire room in my house, well, corner of a room at least, for a dedicated sim rig. But in the meantime, what I'm going to recommend is my stationary seat that I park my cakes in, which I got on sale for about $250 and is a big upgrade over just sitting in an office chair where you're swiveling around and accidentally pushing yourself back. Also quite a bit of adjustment so you can ergonomically set up a good racing position with a lot of wheels. And in the wheel department, I am going to recommend, like I said, the Logitech G923 is a good starter wheel, as I've seen them around $230, $250, and that includes the pedals. You will need to opt an extra $50 to $60 for the Logitech G Driving Force shifter if you want an H-gate shifter. That thing is also 10 years old, has not been revised or updated, but still is a pretty good product, as seen by the 33,000 reviews adding up to 4.6 stars. Not that Amazon reviews are always the most accurate, but you'll be pretty accurate when you're slamming through the gears with this fucking thing. And then as far as a stand or cockpit, those are two different things. A stand is going to be if you don't really have a lot of space, maybe you're in an apartment, or you pop out your racing wheel on the weekends and then put it away so kids aren't tripping on it. I've tested over a dozen of those foldable bases, and it seems like a lot of them are the same. Like there's 4 or 5 core designs that have like 30 listings from a bunch of companies that are just rebranding it and calling calling it different things. I will have the best, in my opinion, linked in the description below as far as a portable foldable stand, and then as far as a cockpit, you'll get the rig that I park my cock and pit in when I'm racing. That was disgusting, never say it again. Which is this bad boy picture on screen here, which I locked in at a pretty reasonable price. Assembly was pretty straightforward, and the combo of that and my G923 with the optional shifter, the H-gate shifter, is really all I personally needed, which got me kind of bit by the racing sim bug to where I've cleared out an entire room in my house and now want to build a pretty robust, sick-ass setup, booty vibrators, and other really cool products in the racing sim scene. So make sure you subscribe so you catch that new saga on the channel.
This is my life. This is my life.
You know what? There's only one good thing about coming to these races, and that is the vibrations from the cars. Oh, I love this car. This car.
If you don't mind being spied on all the time and you like the convenience of the smart home integration, I've never seen Alexa devices be any cheaper than they are now. They're like $15 with these pops, which is crazy because they're a lot better than the $100+ Alexas, the first gens. But again, you have something that's listening for a wake-up word, but God knows what else it's listened to. Probably you and your old lady rolling around in the hay. Me personally, I have an Alexa device in almost every room of my house, and it controls things like my lights and, you know, Alexa swag off. Oh shit. Whoops. Golly jeepers. I knew it was going to do the lights, but I completely forgot that it was going to also cut the the visual feed. There it is. I'm back. Next up, the company Govee, who I'm not sponsored by, is the absolute shit when it comes to home lighting. We're talking about RGB for TV backlighting, under desk, pretty much any effect lighting that you see in my room is Govee. Basically, they've got the integration hub of Philips Hue, but at like a quarter of the price. Reviews are phenomenal for a reason. Their devices are good on the hardware and software side of the house. I'll have a few of my favorites linked in the description below. I'm like looking around my room right now for anything sitting out that I might be like, oh, that's fucking sick. I should recommend that. And the final recommendation is absolutely going to be subscribing to the channel because I probably forgot like 30, 40 things, and I'll probably make a little follow-up video or at least a pinned comment on this video, and I'd love to see you around the town. Charlie Brown. Just drop your comments down there. I respond to most of them. The ones that aren't mean, pushing me around. I was about to say, if I don't see you before the holidays, I hope you have a great day, but I upload pretty frequently on this channel, so you'll probably see my noggin quite a few times before the actual Christmas time, if that's your holiday of choice. But I'll see ya there, partner. If you enjoyed the video, liking it helps it to get seen by more gamers, so this information will reach and assist them as well. Much like the back of the TV, I've got plugs for all of my socials down there in the description below. And your wallet will greatly thank you if you check the description, because there are exclusive discounts on a ton of products, including controllers, control freaks, keyboards, mouse pads, clothes, and energy drinks. And keep in mind that you, the viewer, keep this channel running. The more stallions and stallionettes trotting around the stable, the better, so mollywop that subscribe button like it owes you money, and we'll have the same amount of fun tomorrow.